I think we're on that. Can you
Um,
check the
yeah, I'm
channel?
checking the channel. There's nothing. Oh wait, here we go. Streamed 1 minute ago for 1 second. That's
Not
the
that one.
previous one. So there's nothing coming up for me.
Yeah, we're live, man.
Okay. Is it private or public?
Public.
Oh, there we go. Now I can hear us too.
Okay, so I'm gonna give you OBS, and I think we're just gonna wait a minute for people to jump. Do you have OBS now on your screen
No, no, it is on my screen.
now?
Now it's there.
All right. Can you change this things to show me?
Yes, I
Transition.
can. There you are, you handsome devil.
All right. So that's the seeing my screen. Can you? They should be seeing me
Oh, you just want to
first.
see the
Yeah,
camera? Yep.
yeah, just me first. And there we go. All right, now we're live. Yeah, we've had technical difficulties here. We started a stream that we scheduled, and then there was like a 10-second lag, and we cancelled it. And then anyone that was in the queue to be watching got kicked off. So I'm gonna wait another 30 seconds. Hopefully, post production we can cut out this minute while everyone gets back into this stream. All right. Can you message Jason just see if
Yeah, I am. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
he's there, and then if he can hear us properly, and then I'll be away. I'll give it another minute. See if anyone else wants to join in.
So it's coming up good in my phone.
Oh, is that the
Yeah.
sound? All right. We'll just get going then. I'll let everyone else watch the recording. All right. So big news, Matt, over the last yeah, we got Jason. Big news over the last few weeks with OpenAI. I don't know if you keep up with this news, Matt, but it's been pretty funny.
I mean, we share a house, so no, I don't keep up with it. I
Mhm.
just hear it from you.
Yeah, true, true. So you wouldn't have heard of this then. I think it's hilarious. Okay, this is a perfect example of when a company tries to overcompensate on something to either be politically correct or either fudge some figures, make themselves look good. So you remember when Google came out with Bard, which was what their image generation software was called. It's called something else now, Gemini. I remember when Bard was overly politically correct, and they were creating images with Japanese Nazis or so Asian Nazis and stuff like that, and they had to take back that latest version of the image generation software and apologize and say, we're trying to do good. It was pretty funny. So the same thing has happened with OpenAI. They released a new version, an updated version of ChatGPT. Now I think it's 4.0. I've lost track of all these numbers because you have oh 03, 3.5, 4.0, oh 04, oh 03 mini, oh 04 high, and I've just lost track of what's going on, but I'm pretty sure it was 4.0. And they said, look, new version, and we hope you like it. It's going to be very positive and affirmative. because they found out that people really like that. So other chatbots out there, LLMs out there, were quite positive, and so they thought we'll give this a bash. And the internet being the internet, Reddit being Reddit, they went absolutely to town with it, and they showed that basically they coined the term sycophancy, which in English means butt kissing, ass kissing, right? So
Interesting.
yeah, so it was funny what they ended up getting ChatGPT to do. So this one guy um, posed an idea to ChatGPT and said, "Look, I've got this brilliant idea for a business. Tell me what you think about it. I'm going to start putting putting poo on sticks, putting poo on sticks, and selling them online." And ChatGPT went off and said, "Yes, this is a fantastic idea. You've stumbled upon a great entrepreneurial business situation. It fits in well with today's avant-garde art. People would consider it as art. I suggest investing $30,000 into this business idea, right?"
Right.
So 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 and on Reddit, it was so good, man. It's just people just going to town with this. Um, one person said something along the lines of, "Look, I've come to the conclusion that I am God. What do you think about this?" And ChatGPT just goes, "Wow, that's so self-affirmative. You must be God. Well done." There was some other ones. There was some other ones. I recall one guy goes, "Yeah, look, I've got mental illness, schizophrenia. I've decided to stop taking my medication because it makes me feel really positive. What do you think?" And he's like, "That's a great idea. You've taken the initiative, right? And just go online, and it just goes off." So yeah, a little bit too much. They overcompensated for this. And the other thing that's interesting is that they're trying to, in my opinion, you can't prove this, but there are benchmarks out there. You know what a benchmark is in IT?
Yes. Oh, well, I'm assuming it's like on other things where it's like, this is the standard. This
Yeah,
is, we've tested it. This is what we expect to be the normal.
yeah, yeah. So basically, with these new LLMs, people have created benchmarks that's supposed to test these LLMs' intelligence levels or mathematics. So there's a benchmark for mathematics where the latest iterations of Gemini, OpenAI, they go to these benchmarks and they get like a certain percentage right. And then you keep pushing those percentages up, and it's supposed to be an indication of improvement for these LLMs. Now, there's a lot of criticisms going on about whether these benchmarks are any good, but there's also people accusing some people of fudging figures, right? Using these benchmarks to train the LLM to ace these benchmarks and things like this. So there's one benchmark called the Chatbot Arena, which is very, very popular. And the way that it works is that people go onto this website, and they they're given a prompt, and two responses are given, one from one LLM and one from another LLM, and the user has to choose which response they prefer. And it seems as though people are preferring the responses that are very affirmative and very sycophantic. So so I guess what OpenAI has decided to do is to sort of try to push that affirmative thing to get better results on this benchmark, and it's backfired, right? It's backfired. So about a week and a bit ago, they rolled back the update. They rolled back and said, "Look, let's go to the. I'll see if I can find. I've got the latest news report. There was another one. I think it was in here. If you go to product, um, there. So in April 29th, they said sycophancy in GPT-4o, what happened and what we're doing about it. Obviously, they're going to give their take in this. Um, and they're saying, look, yeah, it wasn't good. We've rolled it all back. And this is the latest one that I just wanted to read through it. Now, I haven't read it in detail. I skimmed through it, right? I just read like first line of a paragraph just to sort of get a general idea of what's going on. I have seen it's quite technical. So once again, I think what I'll do is I'll skip the technical stuff and just get a general picture of what they're trying to say. So May 2, then, so this is a couple of 5 days ago, 6 days ago, where they came out and said, here's some more information about what we missed with this whole controversy. And it was a controversy because that stuff that was being churned out is dangerous, right? And they've admitted you can't allow chatbots to tell you to drop your medication and say it's really good, or to invest $30,000 in a stupid business with poo on a stick. Anyway, expanding on what we missed with sycophancy, a deeper dive on our findings, what went wrong, and future changes we're making. On April 25th, we rolled out an update to GPT-4o in ChatGPT that made the model noticeably more sycophantic. It aimed to please the user, not just as flattery, but also as validating doubts, fueling anger, urging impulsive actions, or reinforcing negative emotions in ways that were not intended. Beyond just being uncomfortable or unsettling, this kind of behavior can raise safety concerns, including around issues like mental health, emotional over-reliance, or risky behavior. Yeah, it's not good when this happens. And this is why it's so dangerous to be talking about AGI. And I subscribe to a lot of channels, and there's people saying, we should get OpenAI to take over politics because it'll be neutral, it'll be, won't be the fast that we're seeing in a lot of countries, including Australia. Um, but look at what happened. Like AGI, give me a break, right? Like this is serious, serious stuff. And if you can just roll back models, I mean, we're not it's dangerous to be talking about this kind of stuff. Anyway, we began rolling that update back on April 28th, and users now have access to an earlier version of GPT-4o with more balanced responses. Earlier this week, we shared initial details about this issue, why it was amiss, and what we intend to do about it. We didn't catch this before launch, and we want to explain why, what we've learned, and what we'll improve. Now, this is interesting. We didn't catch this before launch. So OpenAI was founded a good few years ago by a group of people, and slowly that initial group has dwindled away. And then other people have become hired and they've left the company. And one of the reasons why they've left the company, and a big person, I can't remember who it was a few months ago, they left because they said that OpenAI are neglecting safety, neglecting ethics and neglecting safety. And here we are where something dangerous has happened, and these people who have left have been, in a way, have been vindicated because it looks like we're in a some kind of a arms race here, right? Everything gets dropped so quickly, and there's pressure to push the boundaries, push these benchmarks, and to push new products. And OpenAI is, in a way, they I don't think they're doing as well as they had hoped to be doing because the gap between everybody else has dwindled. There's not much difference between Google's Gemini, Google's OpenAI's ChatGPT, Anthropic Claude, X's Groks. If you look at the benchmarks, they're really, really similar now. So there's a push to sort of innovate, to do something different, and it's a race, and they're cutting corners, and that's dangerous. So we didn't catch this before launch is the sort of telling, right? It's telling that they're cutting corners, I'd say. All right, next. Um, we're also sharing more technical detail on how we train, review, and deploy model updates to help people understand how ChatGPT gets upgraded and what drives our decisions. So I think this will be quite technical. I won't go into it too much. Let's have a look. Jason's asking, why would they catch it? They were being told they were doing a great job. Everyone, including Sam Altman, right? Including Sam Altman. Yeah. AGI my backside, man. This is dangerous stuff. This is dangerous stuff. Anyway, how we update models in ChatGPT. Okay, this will be a little bit technical. We're continuously working to develop improvements on the models in ChatGPT, which we call mainline updates. Since launching GPT-4o in ChatGPT last May, we've released 5 major updates focused on changes to personality and helpfulness, because that's what's important right now. They can't push the boundaries as much in terms of actual intelligence, so they have to somehow push the boundaries in different ways. And personality and helpfulness seems to be this new boundary. Each update involves new post training and often many minor adjustments to the model training process. are independently tested, and then combined into a single updated model, which is then evaluated for launch. Okay. To post-train models, we take a pre-trained base model, do supervised fine-tuning on a broad set of ideal responses written by humans or existing models, and then run reinforcement learning with reward signals from a variety of sources. Okay, what does that mean? So the initial training of, say, Model 4.0 probably took about 2 months, maybe a month, maybe 2 months, maybe more. We don't know, but we know what other people have done. It's a long, long time. Like the entire internet of data gets shoved through a large language model, and over like that month and 2 months, you have tens of thousands of GPUs in the data center crunching these numbers to train this initial pre-trained based model. This costs tens of millions and hundreds of millions of dollars. We don't know how much they spend. This is US dollars, by the way. The most expensive one that we know of, or at least the numbers have been crunched, was Gemini. Oh, I think it was, I can't remember which version, but that cost $200 million to train. That was before the DeepSeek thing came along. Numbers are slightly dropped, but we're talking like ridiculous amounts of money, like ridiculous amounts of money. So what they're saying here is that, so we've done that training, and then what we do is we go back and sort of tweak that LLM. It's called fine tuning, supervised fine tuning. And the way that they tweak it is that they feed um, a question into the LLM, and then they give a correct response or a better response, and they compare it to what the LLM has generated. And then the LLM's job is to go back and sift through this large language model to make sure that the next time that question is asked, or similar questions are asked, they're sort of pushed towards that better response, or the correct response rather than the original response. So it seems as though they did that, and then they pushed the LLM to tweak itself, to go through and mathematically tweak all the numbers inside of itself to be more sycophantic, to be more affirmative. Now that this kind of fine tuning costs a lot of money as well. It's not as expensive to do as the initial training of the model, but we're talking millions of dollars, potentially tens of millions of dollars as well to do. So these guys are throwing money, like that, without blinking. So this fine tuning, this sort of changing of the model cost, let's say tens of millions of dollars, probably worst case scenario, tens of millions of dollars, and then it just was just wasted, and they've had to go back to the previous model prior to fine tuning. I mean, staggering amounts of money, man. I wish we had like 1% of that, right? Like 1% of that. This the amount of money in this industry at the moment is just astounding. It really is astounding. Like I can't help but to think that it's a bubble. People are talking about moving ChatGPT into politics in 2027 already, because you know, it'll be neutral and all that. And then, oh, so much, so much money. Anyway, I'll keep going. During reinforcement learning, we present the language model with a prompt and ask it to write responses. We then rate its response according to the reward signals and update the language model to make it more likely to produce higher rated responses and less likely to produce lower rated responses. That's the idea of them sort of going back and fine tuning the actual model with rewards, with reward scores. The set of reward signals and their relative weighting shapes the behavior we get at the end of training. Defining the correct set of reward signals is a difficult question, and we take many things into account. Are the answers correct? Are they helpful? Are they in line with our model spec? Are they safe? Do users like them? And so on. Having better and more comprehensive reward signals produces better models for ChatGPT. So we're always experimenting with new signals, but each one has its quirks. Yeah, quirks is an understatement with this one. My goodness. Um, so it looks like it's going into some more technical details. How we currently review models based on deployment. So they talk about A/B tests here, and vibe checks, right? How affirmative, how positive, how, yeah. Vibe checks, right? That's what they're doing, and that failed. And then safety evaluations, like I said, right? This is huge. This is huge. They're cutting. It seems as though they're cutting corners, and this was neglected. This was neglected, and according to people who have left the company, high-ranking people have left the company. Um, I'm just going to check the chat here. Yeah. Okay. Let's keep going. I'm going to skip that. What went wrong in training the April 25th model update? In the April 25th model update, we had candidate improvements to better incorporate user feedback, memory, and fresher data, among others. Our early assessment is that each of these changes, which had looked beneficial individually, may have played a part in tipping the scales in sycophancy when combined. You should have tested this. This is not an excuse. Yeah, you can't just roll out something just because it's ready. For example, the update introduced an additional reward signal based on user feedback, thumbs up and thumbs down data from ChatGPT. This signal is often useful. Thumbs down usually means something went wrong. Yeah, so we have seen that in ChatGPT. There's a thumbs up and thumbs down at the bottom of the response. But we believe in aggregate, these changes weakened the influence of our primary reward signal, which had been holding sycophancy in check. No, I don't believe. All right, I'm going to skip that. Um, let's go to this one. Why did we not catch this in our review process? Let's have a look what they say about this. Definitely not because they're cutting corners and it's a race to get out as much products out there as quickly as possible to save face because they're not doing as well as they expected to be doing. They're not going to say that. One of the key problems with this launch was that our offline evaluations, especially those testing behavior, generally looked good. Similarly, the A/B tests seemed to indicate that the small number of users who tried the model liked it. Small number of users, two people in the office tested it out. But they don't tell us. They don't tell us any details. They're completely not transparent. They're opaque. We don't know what their testing methodology. Small number of users. What does that mean? Do they have 10 testers that tested this out, or two testers that tested this out and gave the thumbs up? While we've had discussions about risks related to sycophancy in GPT-4o for a while, sycophancy wasn't explicitly flagged as part of our internal hands-on testing, as some of our expert testers were more concerned about the change in the model's tone and style. Nevertheless, some expert testers had indicated that the model behavior felt slightly off. That's great. That's great. Why didn't you listen to them?
I
We
love
also,
that, like the terminology of vibe check,
yeah,
and it kind of felt off
did it for
is
you.
becoming like official terminology now.
Yeah,
Like, did it pass the vibe check? Like, come on.
yeah. It's corporate. It's corporate language, right?
But it shouldn't be.
No.
Like, that is some really vague, wishy-washy language
Yeah.
right there.
Yeah, yeah, it shouldn't be. It shouldn't be. There's a lot of BS being thrown around. Once again, right, I love AI and it's fantastic, but what's going on at the moment, there's so much money being thrown around that I think OpenAI are a little bit worried. I think because they've invested tons of money and they have no moat. Moat meaning there's no difference between what they offer and what other companies are offering, right? So the rivalry is the competition is so strong that they're not going to be able to rise up like Microsoft did with Windows, or Tesla initially with their cars, right? There's the competition is strong. So I think they're a little bit worried. I think anyway. Um, we also didn't have specific deployment evaluations tracking sycophancy. Yeah, well, that's why people left the company, right? This is dangerous stuff. While we have research work streams around issues such as mirroring and emotional reliance, those efforts haven't yet become part of the deployment process. After this rollback, we're integrating sycophancy evaluations into that process. Well, that's great that you decided to do that. People have told you ages ago that you're neglecting safety. We then had a decision to make. Should we withhold deploying this update despite positive evaluations and A/B test results based only on the subjective flags of the expert testers? In how many expert testers? Who are the expert testers? What? How are you called? Why are they Why are they deemed experts? Who are they? Like, are they psychologists or are they computer scientists? You know nothing about this kind of stuff.
They passed the vibe check,
They
man.
passed the vibe check. Like, we could hire a low level engineer straight out of university, train him up for like three months or 3 weeks, call him an expert, and just ask him does it pass the vibe check. In the end,
University doesn't teach you how to vibe, man.
yeah.
I think you're putting too much emphasis on qualifications.
Yeah. In the end, we decided to launch the model due to the positive signals from the users who tried out the model. How many users? How many positive signals? What was the ratio between positive and negative? Unfortunately, this was the wrong call. Yeah, no shit. We build these models for our users, and while user feedback is critical to our decisions, it's ultimately our responsibility to interpret that feedback correctly. Looking back, the qualitative assessments were hinting at something important and we should have paid closer attention. Are they going to change anything in the grand scheme of things? No, they're just going to stick sycophancy and wait until the next thing breaks.
They passed the vibe
They
check.
pass the vibe check. As long as they're passing the benchmark checks, that's what matters. They were picking up on a blind spot in our other evals and metrics. Our offline evals weren't broad or deep enough to catch sycophantic behavior, something the model spec explicitly discouraged, and our A/B test didn't have the right signals to show how the model was performing on that front with enough detail. What we did to address the issue. With the recent GPT-4o update, we started the rollout on Thursday, April 24th and completed it right. We spent the next 2 days monitoring early usage and internal signals, including user feedback. By Sunday, it was clear the model's behavior wasn't meeting our expectations. So within a couple of days, it started to hit the fan. We took immediate action by pushing updates to the system prompt late Sunday night to mitigate much of the negative impact quickly and initiated a full rollback to the previous GPT-4o version on Monday. The full rollback took around 24 hours to manage stability and avoid introducing new issues across the deployment. That's easy. I wonder why it took 24 hours. It'd be interesting to see how all that is set up, why rolling back a model takes 24 hours. Today, GPT-4o traffic is now using this previous version. Since the rollback, we've been working to fully understand what went wrong and make longer term improvements. Okay, so what will improve in our process? Explicitly approve model behavior for each launch, weighing both quantitative and qualitative signals. We'll adjust our safety review process to formally consider behavior issues. I mean, it's just basics, right? How can you not? This is such an important tool. People are using this for so many things, and you don't have this in your safety review process. Once again, significant people have left the company because they said they are neglecting safety issues. Um, Even if these issues aren't perfectly quantifiable today, we commit to blocking launches based on proxy measurements or qualitative signals, even when metrics like A/B testing look good. Introduce an optional opt-in alpha testing phase. Okay, should have done that earlier. In some cases, we plan on introducing an additional opt-in alpha phase in testing that would allow us to hear from users interested in giving us direct feedback prior to launch. Value spot checks and interactive testing more. Okay, we'll skip that. Improve our offline evals and A/B experiments. Yeah, better evaluate adherence to our model behavior principles. Yeah, what are your principles? But stating our goals isn't enough on its own. They need to be backed by strong evals. Yep. And communicate more proactively. Yeah, let's not be closed AI. Let's be open AI. Right? Communicate with us, please. It's why you were founded. Um, we also made communication errors. Speaking of closed AI, news just in from yesterday or the day before, OpenAI have stopped trying to go full profit. There you go.
Would this have anything to do with a certain lawsuit that was getting thrown about?
This had mostly to do with, I suspect, Elon Musk's bid that was like $100 billion overvaluation of OpenAI, and then because of that bit, I don't know how the intricacies work with this, but it really put a spanner in the works because they had to somehow get that amount of money to go for profit because that's what the official evaluation became of OpenAI, what Elon Musk did. So it was a very good move by Elon Musk to try to block. He probably didn't want to buy it. He just wanted to force a higher evaluation, and it made it harder for them to go into for profit. So politics, man, this stuff is fascinating. Like
That's really
one
true.
week, look at what's happened. This has happened. Elon Musk has stopped them from going for profit. Google came out with 2.5 Pro, Gemini 2.5 Pro the other day. I mean, it's kicking off every week, man. Every week, it's great. I love it. We also made communication errors because we expected this to be a fairly subtle update. We didn't proactively announce it. Okay. Also, our release notes didn't have enough information about the changes we've made. You don't give us anything, man. Like your release notes didn't have any enough information, didn't have any information. Talk to us. You're meant to be not non-profit organization. We wanna share what you're discovering. Going forward, we'll proactively communicate about the updates we're making to the models in ChatGPT, whether subtle or not. We'll see. And like we do with major model launches, when we announce incremental updates to ChatGPT, we'll now include an explanation of known limitations so users can understand the good and the bad. Okay, let's just check the chat window. Wow. What's to stop? What's to stop a competing company using their AI to ask all these questions and deliberately thumbs upping stupid or dangerous answers? There would be checks put in place. There's limits to how. I mean, it costs money to ask questions to OpenAI. You have to be subscribed to a certain tier, and then these things are tracked. And suddenly, if you get 2,000 responses um, from one client, one after the other, it'll be like bot alert, right? So there would be safety checks put in place, and then yeah, yeah. Um,
Brilliant idea, though.
Oh yeah, people have thought of this for sure. Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. There's people in doing this kind of trying to do it. Yeah, so there's definitely safety checks in place for that. How many people out there would think like, I don't trust my doctor, but ChatGPT won't lie to me? Well, oh, you'd be surprised. Yeah, there would be people out there now. It's because this is why it's so dangerous to hype up artificial intelligence, right? It's so dangerous, and people believe AI now to be some kind of omnipotent, omniscient being that is much better at politics and than us humans, and much better at medicine than us humans, or at least that it people should be more objective and more realistic to these things. I mean, look, it was a matter of pushing a few buttons, doing a few things, and suddenly this chatbot became sycophantic. And then within 24 hours, they rolled it back. I mean, AGI, it's software, right? It's software. We can't hype it up to the point where people believe these things.
So with AGI, right?
Mm.
I'm imagining that it would get to a point where it's expected to moderate itself.
No, it depends, right? So no one has agreed on, we haven't collectively agreed on what AGI is. So what you're saying, can it moderate itself? Some people would say yes, that needs to be part of AGI. Other people are here and they say we have already reached AGI because these chatbots can do um, a lot of things now better than the average human being. They can do maths better, they can code better, they can write essays better. And if you combine these five, six, seven, eight things together, that's kind of like it's generally better over these things. So it's AGI. But then others would be like, yeah, no, it has to self thing, it has to have some kind of semblance of consciousness. So no one really knows, right? No one really knows. And we don't know because of this, we don't know when AGI will happen because we haven't collectively agreed on it. People are saying some company's got to come out and just claim it and just say, let's just draw the line here. We've got it now. We're pushing towards ASI, but not a lot of people are convinced by it. Quite
AGI
well
is like the
said.
next Jesus. Some people think he's going to return soon. Some people think he already has. Some people don't believe in him at all.
Yeah, yeah, that's one way of looking at it. So if that's Jesus, then what's ASI?
I
Anyway,
think
anyway,
Skynet.
Skynet, yeah. All right, what we're learning. This launch taught us a number of lessons. Even with what we thought were all the right ingredients in place, A/B tests, offline evals, we still missed this important issue. Here are the big takeaways we're taking forward. I'm going to just read the first lines. We need to treat model behavior issues as launch blocking like we do other safety risks. Yeah, that's of course. We need to be critical of metrics that conflict with qualitative testing. Okay, our evals won't catch everything. We can't predict every issue, but you can do a better job in trying to. For frontier risks we're aware of, we have extensive evaluation and testing in place before launch, etc., etc. There's no such thing as a small launch. All right, that's interesting. We'll try to communicate even subtle changes that can meaningfully change how people interact with ChatGPT. Yeah, we'll see. So, last paragraph. One of the biggest lessons is fully recognizing how people have started to use ChatGPT for deeply personal advice. Dude, we've been talking about this the last 6 months. The fact that you've neglected this is atrocious. Something we didn't see as much even a year ago. At the time, this wasn't a primary focus, but as AI and society have co evolved, it's become clear that we need to treat this use case with great care. It's now going to be a more meaningful part of our safety work. With so many people depending on a single system for guidance, we have a responsibility to adjust accordingly. This shift reinforces why our work matters and why we need to keep raising the bar on safety, alignment, and responsiveness to the ways people actually use AI in their lives. Yeah, okay, lots of corporate there. End of story is that it was embarrassing to OpenAI, and it vindicated a lot of the people that have left the company over the years because of safety issues and safety concerns. So they kind of got their tail between the legs at the moment, but they're going to keep going forward, and hopefully AI will keep pushing forward. If you could share my screen one more time, Matt, and I'm just going to try something. Someone posted this on X the other day. You know the old how many R's there are in strawberry?
Yeah, yeah.
So obviously these models have been tweaked manually to answer this question. But someone asked this question.
Can you just explain it to anyone on the stream who's not familiar with that?
Okay, so all this talk about AGI, and for a long time, these LLMs, these chatbot, could not answer simple questions like how many letter R's there are in the word strawberry, or give me 10 words that have two R's in them. And they get it wrong. It's the way that words are represented as numbers to an LLM. That's the problem. And they haven't worked out a way to sort of circumvent that. They're kind of tweaking it manually. So if you ask that stand, and the strawberry thing became viral, right? And everyone's talking about the strawberry thing. But then someone wrote this prompt. I'm just going to check if it was true or not. I'm going to do this live. How many? Oh, let me restart that here. How many G's are there in the word strawberry? Now maybe they've already fixed it, but we'll see. This is live. There is one letter G in the word strawberry. Beautiful. Do you see a letter G in that?
That's blown my mind.
AGI, right?
Well, okay.
AGI.
So this is interesting because now we're talking about context in a way.
Yeah.
Like we would expect that the AI has access to the information, what letters are in this word, but obviously it doesn't look at letters in words.
Yeah.
So now if we apply this to politics in
Yeah.
2027,
It's
like
crazy, right? It's crazy. This stuff is so overhyped. It's dangerous. Like they need more money to put into the industry to grow AI because it costs so much, like we said at the
some
beginning of
would
the
say
stream.
7 trillion.
Yeah, that's right. The Sam Altman, right? So it's in their vested interest to hype this product. Now it's good. I'm not a pessimist. I'm not saying that AI is stupid, it's dumb. I'm saying it's excellent. It has surpassed my expectations a long time ago. But I'm saying it's not as good as they make it out to be, and they keep throwing these buzzwords in like AGI and ASI and all these things like that without even knowing or understanding what defining it, what that means in the first place. And then you do something like this, and it's like, can you trust it to diagnose someone with medication, or can you like it, collaborating AI with humans? 100%, right? 100%. But like, just let it run free. I mean, this is it's ridiculous, right? This is ridiculous, and this is ChatGPT 4.0. This is the model that we've just been criticizing from the press release. Yeah, crazy stuff, eh?
Interesting.
Crazy stuff. All right. Yeah, I'm glad that worked out well live. Any more people? Cool. All right. I'm gonna end the stream. Thanks for watching, guys. Hopefully, I'll be able to cut that beginning part up. We had technical issues once this video gets uploaded, but stay tuned for more. And we're going to record a new video that we'll edit very very soon too. Cool. And thank you, Matt, for joining in on this conversation.
Thank you. Thank everybody.
Yeah,
And thank you, ChatGPT, for really leading the way and passing the vibe test.
that's right. Passing the vibe test.